My Family's Secret Room. A story by E.B.'s Heart. She was blindfolded as her mother led her into the secret room. When she stepped in, the blindfold was removed, and she saw the most scariest thing she had ever seen. A very odd-looking man with an animal face was sitting inside a burning fire, glittering like a diamond. "This is your grandfather," Nilo's mother said while pointing at the man. Nilo, in fear, looked around the room and screamed. So a week ago, Nilo woke up to a text message from her parents. It read, "Don't forget to bring him home this Christmas." Nilo's family celebrates a special feast once every year on Christmas Eve. On that day, every member of their family must be around. In fact, it was so important that even her uncles and aunties in other countries had never missed attending the feast with their families. Whenever the feast began, every member of their family above 25 enters the secret room. They do not come out until the next day. The secret room was built differently inside her family compound, with its own fence and gate, and no one enters there except you are told to enter. Any noise or discussion going on there cannot be heard by anyone outside. Nilo, who just turned 25, would be introduced to the secret room that Christmas, and her parents had been telling her to bring someone home. When she asked about what goes on inside the room, her older siblings told her it was just a family meeting. Her two older sisters and her female cousins also visit home with their children to attend the meeting. Being a young female banker in the city that was doing well for herself, every man wanted to marry Nilo, so getting a fiancé was not hard. Her fiancé proposed to her just a few months after they met. "Kevin, my parents want to see you this Christmas," Nilo told her fiancé, smiling. Kevin was so happy. He wanted to marry Nilo as soon as possible before another man confused her. Nilo and Kevin arrived a day before Christmas Eve. Everyone was happy to see Kevin, and Nilo was surprised to see her family members watching Kevin like a vulture. "He is so strong. He will make Grandpa happy." Nilo was confused. As far as she knew, she didn't have grandparents, as they all died before she was even born. So who were they referring to as Grandpa? On the day of the meeting, everyone, including Nilo's uncles and aunties, dressed in black, tied their heads with a red cloth, and wore blindfolds. Nilo's mom led her hand as the gate to the secret room was opened. Her mother brought her inside, and after a while, the blindfold was removed. That was when she screamed after seeing the man. She could not believe this was her family members. She was still shivering in fear when they brought Kevin inside the secret room. Nilo saw the kind of family she was born into. Everyone's head turned into various heads of animals and charged at Kevin. Soon, Kevin was reduced to only his head. The strange-looking man sitting inside fire stretched his hand from where he was sitting, collected Kevin's head, and disappeared. In that instant, everyone inside the room fell down wherever they were standing and slept off, including Nilo. The strange sound of breathing inside the room woke Nilo up before others. She looked around the room, trying to remember what happened and where she was. It was when she saw her mother that she remembered that she was inside the secret room, and everything that happened flooded her memory. She was still on the ground when everyone woke up and surrounded her, smiling. "What animal did you see yourself in? How did it feel?" Their questions shocked Nilo the more. Who are these people? How am I related to people that could turn to any animal they want to and take the life of another human being? She tried to smile and act along, but when she noticed how surprised they were that she didn't stand up and was telling her story happily, as others had done during their own first time, she got up and walked out of the room, still looking shocked. Her father became suspicious immediately and whispered into the ears of his younger brother, "That is not our blood. No one sees our father and behave that way. Find out what is going on." Nilo's mother ran to her room and saw her packing her bags to leave. "You people killed my fiancé. Why? How can you all be like this?" She was still talking and crying when she heard her cousin's voice and a key locking her room. She was not their blood. Her mother got pregnant with her when she slept with her former boss 25 years ago. Her mother had never thought that anything could expose that. "Open the door for me," Nilo's mother said calmly while dragging the door handle. They opened the door and she walked out. Nilo rushed to follow her, but they closed the door to her face. She knelt down and cried, "Kevin is gone. I can't believe this." She tried to make some calls with her phone and discovered there was no SIM card in it. She cried and started praying. She had always known that her family was odd, but not to this extent. When Nilo's mother got to their father, he told his brothers to seize her. "How could you give me another man's child?" Nilo's father, Chief Oza, asked, furious. "She is your daughter, your replica. Are you blind now?" Nilo's mother said without fear. "But she didn't change like us, and my father didn't accept her too. Father demands her head and I must give it to him, else we will all die." Chief Oza's words struck Nilo's mother like a thunderstorm, but she pretended to agree with him. "Get her ready for my father. Her fiancé was not accepted, and we have just a few days until New Year to remedy it, else we will all die," Chief Oza told his brothers. Nilo heard the keys on her door turning and braced up. Her uncles came and dragged her out. All her relatives watched with disgust. "So she is an outsider all these while," they all said, while they all prayed their grandfather accept her and spared them. Nilo's mother was at the front, but her heart was crying for help. "Hang in there, my daughter. I will burn this family down, if that is what it will take," she murmured to herself while she chanted the prayer they were chanting to their grandfather. Nilo was taken into another room that she does not even know existed in their house. The room was well furnished like all the other rooms. She laid on the bed, sobbing. That was when she smelt his cloth. Kevin's clothes were on the bed. "Was he in this room?" she asked and cried. "So I just brought Kevin here to get him killed." Nilo could not still believe her family could do that. She was still in thought when she heard a heavy breathing and a very strange voice shouting angrily just outside the room door. She went closer to the door, placed her ears on the door and heard her father crying and saying, "Nilo will be brought to you tomorrow night. We are just waiting for the DNA test we sent to the hospital to come back so that we can be sure we are not killing our own. It will come back before afternoon and we will send her right away to you." Chief Oza continued crying and talking. "I am sure she is not my blood. Why are you wasting my time? Send her to me now." The voice of their grandfather, which was sounding like what Nilo has never heard before, echoed through the whole compound. Nilo then remembered hearing that voice when she was little and wondered who was talking like that. She remembered her mother telling her she was only dreaming. "So we have been living with the devil. How can my family allow this to control them?" She peeped through the keyhole in the room and saw their grandfather walking on the corridor, breathing fast and spitting fire. She noticed he had a long tail and his head looked so weird. She started shivering in fear. It was already past midnight when Nilo slept off. She woke up to the sound of the keys on the door turning again. Her mother came in and whispered, "We are leaving now. Put this on," she said and handed over a long black gown to her. "I don't want to die, Mom. I don't understand what is happening here. Please don't let me die," Nilo said, crying. "Shut up, put on the cloth and follow me," her mother commanded. They were about to open the door when they heard footsteps and voices calling, "Mom, Mom." They were Nilo's brothers. They were looking for their mother. They needed to begin the devotion to appease their grandfather. He was angry, they said. But when they didn't see their mother, their father became scared. "Search everywhere now and find her," their father shouted. Nilo's mother had to sneak out of the room where Nilo was and pretended to be outside thinking, "We are starting the devotion now. Where have you been?" Chief Oza asked in fear. "This is the 26th of December. We have just 4 days until the end of this year, and if we have not given Father what he wants, we will all be reduced to ash." Her mother left the key for Nilo and asked her to come out and run when she leaves. "Run and don't ever come back here. You are not one of them, and the DNA test will prove that," her mother said and walked away. They were inside the secret room with their faces buried on the ground, crying and praying to their grandfather to spare them. Nilo, now dressed in the black gown her mother gave her, came out of the room and ran towards the exit door but found out it was locked. She was sneaking in fear when she heard footsteps coming and a voice saying, "Get me that girl. The doctor just called me about the DNA result. Nilo is an outsider and must be given to Papa immediately," Fiancée said, shouting. Everyone was coming to get Nilo. She stood at a place, frozen in fear. They were close, and she had given up, waiting for them to get her, when a hand dragged her into a room and locked the door. The room was dark, and Nilo was shaking and sobbing when the light came on. Nilo was shocked to see her two cousins hiding in the room with Feàr. Their mother was also there with them. "I don't like where this whole DNA thing is going. My children's blood are not of this family too. Your mother, being the oldest wife and from my hometown, told me about their bloodline when I was newly married into the family. She saved my children's future by telling me to get pregnant outside. You are the first outsider to be introduced into the secret room. We all hoped you would scale through while we wait for their deaths one day, but no, everything fell apart. As I speak, my children and I are sneaking out with you. We are leaving the country too," Amma, Nilo's auntie, told their story hurriedly in tears. "But I am not leaving the country. I didn't even know I would be alive up till now. Take this, you are leaving," Amma said while handing over a passport to her. "Your mother prepared for today. She also knew it may not work. That is why we got passports for you and my two children," Amma said and pointed at her 15-year-old twins. Nilo sat on the ground and wept. "What of my older sibling?" Nilo asked in tears. "They are real members of the family. They have the blood of that beast you saw running through their veins. The beast made sure his children kept producing children to be feeding his hunger. Every year, a child brings a stranger into this family either to introduce them for marriage or friendship for Papa to take. Your mother started making plans to have more children outside the day she found out that any year they don't perform this sacrifice, they will all turn into ash," Amma said in a hushed tone. "She could only have you because she had had 7 of your older siblings, and age was no longer on her side then. That is why she vowed to keep you safe. So I will try and take you and my kids out now in my car, as we planned. My kids are not expected to be inside the secret room now because they are not up to 25, so they are free to go and come in as they wish. You will be in the boot while we try to leave," Amma said and grabbed her car keys. Amma told Nilo to enter a big travel bag inside their room. She got in, and Amma's son, Timmy, was dragging the bag outside when the men passed him. "Nilo can't be hard to find here. Search well. I wonder why it's taking long," Fiancée said, shouting. "Where are you taking the bag to?" Amma's husband asked his son, frowning. Amma quickly intervened and said, "I told you we want to share some things to the village children. The things in the bag are what we want to give out to them. We are all in trouble, and what is bothering you is how to share things to the villagers. How could you be this heartless? In a few days' time, we may all turn into ashes, and you don't care. You don't care that your children might die. What kind of a mother are you?" Amma's husband angrily dragged the bag into the family's storeroom and instructed his children to stay away from there. "I will set that bag on fire with its content in the evening. You cannot be this insensitive." Nilo could feel the man roughly dragging the bag into a room and a voice threatening to burn it. She peed on her body. Meanwhile, Nilo's mother was inside the secret room with the other family members, praying to their grandfather when Amma joined her. Amma was forced by her husband to join the others inside the secret room. When Nilo's mother saw Amma, she knew that their plans had been found out. But when she didn't see them dragging her daughter inside the secret room, she also realized they had not found her. And once you are inside the secret room, you cannot leave unless for something so serious, and you must be permitted by Fiancée. Nilo's mother looked around and saw how worried her children looked. She also looked around and noticed that her husband had joined his brothers and their children to search for Nilo. She imagined how her children must be feeling, watching their father looking for their sister to sacrifice her to a hungry demonic grandfather that never gets satisfied. Nilo's mother stylishly fell hard on the ground, pretending to be sick. Her children rushed to her side and lifted her up. She started pushing spit out of her mouth, hoping that would convince them to take her to her room, but they were too scared of dying to care that much. She noticed that her children and their cousins were focused on the seat their grandfather sits, which was empty. Their grandfather had told them that he will only show his face when they put Nilo inside that fire for him. And if they don't until the night of the 31st of December, they will perish. And the date was already the 27th of December, so the fear of dying was too strong. They laid her on the ground there, praying to their grandfather. Nilo's mother was hoping her husband would come in and maybe order the scared children to take her inside her room. But after about 20 minutes, Amma started telling them to take their mother inside. What if she dies here? Amma tried to persuade them. Nilo's mother was later lifted by her children and was taken inside her room. Immediately her children left, she changed and wore sneakers, then sneaked out of the room. She could hear her husband and his brothers shouting Nilo's name and cursing her for trying to ruin their lives. Nilo's mother was about to walk into the corridor leading outside when she heard her husband's voice. "When this is over, I will kill my wife myself and eat her slowly. She brought this pain upon us by cheating on me and bringing the child into my home. I will show her why I am called Chief Oza." When Nilo's mother heard that, she entered the kitchen and went outside through the back door, crying. She was thinking of what to do when she saw Nilo climbing the fence. Nilo managed to crawl out of the bag, entered her room, dressed up, and was about to jump the fence through the corner of the compound. She made sure she avoided their dog in the cage from seeing her, but when her mother saw her and excitedly ran past their dog's cage, the dog started barking. The entire family, who were looking for Nilo, including her father, ran to the backyard to see who was making the dog bark. But by the time they got there, they saw Nilo's mother on top of the fence, about to jump. Chief Oza screamed, after her. She is also helping her daughter escape. As they were trying to climb the fence, Nilo's mother shouted, "Run, Nilo! Run and don't look back!" She then jumped down and started blocking their way to give Nilo time to get to the road. Nilo, who had worn her sneakers and was prepared for running, ran as fast as she could. She got to the next compound, which happened to be the closest house to their own, saw an open boot of a car. The family seemed to be traveling back after Christmas and jumped into the boot. She covered her body with the big travel bags there and laid low. She could hear the running footsteps of her uncles and cousins. They didn't want to enter their neighbor's compound because they could not explain to the man, who was an army officer, why they were angrily searching for their daughter. So they looked around the compound and noticed that all their doors were locked except the front door, where they were all about to walk out from and enter their car. So they left and ran down the road shouting her name. The family came out, put one more bag in the boot, closed it, and zoomed off. Nilo managed to put her nose near the little key opening in the boot for some air. She thought of her mother and cried. But when she remembered Kevin, she cried so much that she was gasping for air. What do I say happened to him? Who will believe me? She remembered how Kevin's mother welcomed her the day she went to see her. How do I face his friends, family, and colleagues? Maybe I should have allowed my family take me with Kevin, because I deserve it. She was still crying when she noticed that the car had stopped. She was still trying to know why they stopped when the boot opened, and the man, Mr. Simon, shook his head and said, "Nilo, come out. My wife saw you run out of the bush and into our boot. She was the one that told me not to talk and let you be. So what are you running from?" the man said with his hands on his waist. Nilo started sobbing as she narrated everything to them and begged them to please save her mother. The man, being an army officer, was furious. How can people be sacrificing people in this day and age? He drove straight to the nearest military base and told them what was happening. Within a few minutes, army officials filled a military truck and were ready to go. Meanwhile, Nilo's mother was tied up while the entire family was kneeling on the ground, begging Grandpa to accept her in place of Nilo. They were still crying and begging, including the other wives of Chief Oza's brothers, when they heard gunshots in their compound. Chief Oza walked out to meet them, smiling. They pushed him aside and were marching inside gallantly with force. I am a respected chief in this village under the state government. You cannot barge into my home like that, Chief Oza said and tried to make calls. But a hand hit the phone down, and it broke into pieces. Chief Oza looked up to see Nilo and froze. He then started crying and murmuring, "It is over." His entire family were arrested and taken to the police station. Nilo took her mom back to the city with her. Before Chief Oza could get in touch with his government connections, it was already the 31st of December. When they were released on bail pending investigations, the police officers were surprised to see them running like people who were being pursued. They were trying to see if they could still buy more time until midnight. My great-grandfather, and my father will be disappointed in me for ruining this beautiful covenant that has existed between us and Papa for years, Chief Oza said in tears. But I thought you said he was our grandfather, his children chorused. He is your ancestor who founded our family tree. He has been there all along, protecting us, providing for us, and giving us the perfect health. Chief Oza was talking when he started turning into ash. What is happening? But it is not yet midnight, Chief Oza asked before he became a heap of ash. All his children became terrified and were waiting for who would go first. But to their greatest surprise, it was only Nilo's siblings that turned into ash with Chief Oza's brothers. The other grandchildren did not turn into ash because their mothers had all dedicated them to the water god when they found out about the family's secret. They all thought their children would live. But as the wives were rejoicing and hugging their children, the wives started melting and turning into ash. They became sacred and were shouting, "We are not your blood." But a voice said loudly, "I take anyone that knows about the secret room before now. So whether you are my blood or not, once you are aware before now, you are mine forever." Within a few minutes, everyone melted and became ash. Even the two teenage twins of Amma were not spared. Nilo was kneeling beside her mother's ash in the city, crying. She couldn't believe they were all gone. Nilo's mother and the other wives thought they wouldn't be affected, but they were wrong. Once you marry into a family, you have inherited any curse or covenant following them. That is why you have to look well before agreeing to marry anyone. And speak up or walk away when you find something unusual. Nilo was the only one that survived because her mother never told her the truth about the secret room. With the help of the army officer, she was able to tell Kevin's family what happened to their son and how she didn't have a hand in it, and she was vindicated. If you see the kind of secret room that exists in some families, especially the rich ones, you will be more careful before you enter any family. Whenever you are paying a stranger a visit, make sure you are going there as a visitor and not as a sacrifice.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.